Don't blink, it's your boy. Welcome to our show. I guess I'm having a wonderful morning in this 15th May 2025. We just went out because we didn't have a nice sunrise. So I was like, you know what? Let's go out. Let's see what's up. And we got a nice sunrise. However, now we're back. We're gonna be filming a couple of videos because before we go to my father's house. Now, without further ado, let's freaking go. Okay. Oh, let's charge it. Let's charge it. And this is where let's charge it. You know I don't care. Let's charge it. Of course, I delete the video. Of course, I stopped the video. Okay. I had all of these lines. Oh, shit. And of course, I stopped the video. Don't blink, it's your brain. Welcome to our show. If you're doing well, because are having a wonderful day on this 15th May 2025. It's a busy morning. You can see we're filming outside. We're filming the two towers. We're gonna be uploading content because I'm gonna see my father in about 40 minutes. So I have a lot to do. I want to do 3 videos. The first video of the day is a love letter to Mother's Day. Last year we reacted to Mother's Day, which was awesome. This year we're doing a shout out for the mothers, but also the duality of how it feels to be a mother's boy. You see, it's gonna be such a weird video to do, but it's gonna be in my style, so you're used to things not being here. We have a little alfalfa over here. Don't know why. So mothers. You guys probably noticed, you guys probably understood I was a mama's boy growing up. My father was a strict father, my mom was the cool parents. My mom also was very, very generous and very easygoing. She wasn't, she was involved in my life a lot, but she wasn't as strict as my father. And my father, when I was younger, he was so strict that I was afraid of him. So my mom was this figure of peace, of quietness, of there's good parents out there. And I mentioned my mom a lot. You guys by now know my mom, and you guys know that I had some hard feelings towards her because I feel like I was enabled a lot, and short term it was really fun, but long term, I think there's things that happened that wasn't good. Not in a sense of something terrible happened, but in a sense of there was lesson that I was supposed to learn that I didn't learn. However, I think for it's funny because we'll see a lot of boy we see a lot of boys being mama's boy, and we see a lot of girls being daddy's daughter, right? And I don't know why that is. I don't know what that is. I think it's a duality. I think it's the possible thought of romance and love. The first love that I had in my life was my mom. I was in love with my mom. I said, well, I'm going to be marrying my mom. Now, this is weird, but again, I was 3, so chill. But ultimately speaking, again, as a parent, my mom was the calmest. And I think as a man, I'm a bit self-conscious. I'm a bit intimidated by a woman as a general because for a baby, there's an automatic connection with the mom. There's an automatic connection with, because she's carrying you, she's feeding you for the night, for the first, I don't know how long, but you're a mama. Doesn't matter what you are. You're a mama you just recognize a mom, right? There's even a study that realized that most baby said that at first because they still feel part of the mom. So when they're seeing the mom, they're seeing this as a one person, them and the mom, and they're seeing that as this almost stranger. So it's not a good thing. Yes, so you see the mom and you see how natural it is, even in the animal kingdom. And yes, we're not animals, I understand that, but it's still it's still something that is. Oh shit! I'm not recording. See, the Vorbesh. Not recording. Swear to God I was. Swear to God I was. My phone is fucking up. My tablet's fucking up. It's okay. We didn't miss that much. We missed it a little bit, but it's okay. It broke. It's okay. As long as it's working now, I don't mind. You see the chat? Of course of course it's intimidating. You know that no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to compete. Now, ultimately speaking, the mentality of thinking that you have to compete as a kid is nonsensical, because you're like, okay, well, I hope I have a good mom, and I want a good mom for my kid. My kid deserves a good mom. But at the same time, it is kind of nonsensical, because you're like, yeah, but I want my kid to also love me, you know? It's such a weird thing for a dad. See, there's this mentality of, oh, well, the mom, she's a natural, the dad, you know. You often hear people say every man can make a child, not every man can be a dad. He's a dad that stepped up, you know. You often hear about that, but at the same time, it's very intimidating. I feel like if you have a good parents, right? There's also my mom is more okay with being filmed than my father. So people are like, yo, you have an amazing mom. And when I'm gonna post it over my mom, people are like, oh, yo, she's so cool. You have such a nice mom. And I do. But it's just the fact that you guys also my father. And it's not a competition, right? They're both different. They both have a different they both have a parenting style that is different, right? It's just a bit of a in this modern day, it's just a bit of a it's a feeling of inferiority. I think this is the insecurity. I think it's actually the good feeling. I think it's the right expression. So with the insecurity, it's a bit more. You're gonna be doing this. So sorry guys for the word. We skip some content. We do this a mission. It's not a big deal. Not a lot happened. We are ranked 1 when it comes to the tournament, which is great. See, now it's lagging. It's lagging. I'm gonna skip this and I'm gonna redo it. You're recording, which is great. Okay. However, I have an amazing mom, and it is Mother's Day, so let's embrace her. Let's tell her thank you for what she's doing. My mom is a picture perfect of hard work, you see. My mom is a picture perfect of hard work, and it doesn't really work. See, with my father was planning, right? He was planning, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna focus on myself. And my mom, guys, this is a complex video to make. It's a good video to make also. My dad was more so like focus on myself and then I'll achieve things. And then my father doesn't need to work, right? He has his pension, he has his house. Versus my mom, who still has to work because she has to pay back the condos. Right? And she's helping people, right? But then, that's my mom. And that is, I feel like, picture perfect mom. You know, my mom, I also had harsh feelings toward her. I also had some, I wouldn't say hatred, but definitely some resentment toward my mom because I didn't know who she was. She didn't share herself. She kept herself away, not from me, but in general. More like about herself, right? But I think that like that, this is a mom. I'm seeing the picture, this meme where the mom is cooking and she'll feed everybody, and then when it's her turn, she'll leave leftover in the corner, right? My mom is a picture perfect of self-sacrifices. And even at the core of thing, being a mom is that. I'm part of the flesh. Yes, I came from a sperm. That was my mother's tummy for 9 months. I was breastfed, which explains a lot, you know. My mom, there's more that, biologically speaking, there's more of my mom in me than my father, and that's normal, you know. And that's the self-sacrifices. My mom was willing to carry this 6.6 kilos baby. I was a fat kid. I was a fat baby. I was the heaviest baby at the maternity ward. Also, my mom, she suffered a lot because, see, and that I'm not gonna agree with myself. I'm gonna have to put it in a comma. My father and my mom, they had this baby before me, which was my sister, right? The one that she died. And see, with my mom, she carried a child, so she knew she had a physical connection with the baby. My father had an emotional connection with the baby, of course. He was getting used to the idea of becoming a father. He was excited to become a father. He was excited to the thought of welcoming a daughter, right? He was a dad, a girl's dad. And then all of a sudden he didn't. And my mom, and both were involved psychologically, but my mom, I was physically, you know. And my mom, she suffered a lot, and I don't know why. It's funny because I was out this morning because the weather wasn't really nice, and I wanted to get the sunrise, so I went out this morning, and you know, I saw this woman walking, and she was a bit older, and for some reason, she was small. She was small. I think that's why. Physically speaking, she was kind of similar to my mom. I thought about my mom, and it's weird because there's often a woman that I think, oh, I get this motherly vibe from her, but I don't get that from a man. I don't get fatherly vibe from men. There are people that have been fatherly towards me, but more so in a mentorship kind of way, right? And even as a figure of authority, as a kid, I would respect men more because I was like, okay, well, I have to be a man. I have to understand how to be a man. So to understand that, I have to follow men. But yeah, my mom, and I could tell you guys how much I love her and how much she sacrifices for me, and I could tell her how kind she is to everybody. I could tell her how loved she is from everybody. She works in a shopping center, and everybody knows her. Everybody's like, hey, and then she's like, oh, this is my son, and she knows name, and I'm like, wow, you're popular, ma. So that's what happens when you're nice, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right, and it just speaks volumes, you know. It's not if you want to see if somebody is nice, if somebody is kind, look at how they treat other people and how they're treated. If somebody has is being growled at by dogs or by animals and are aggressive to other person, is not a good person because they pick up on that. Second thing is if this person doesn't have any friends or the friends you can tell that they're not good friends, then you have to ask yourself the question, why doesn't he have more friends? Why aren't they better quality, right? With my mom, I know that she's not, but even if I didn't know her, I would say, well, this person is really loved by most people. Either I had the building that she works in, which is a huge building. She must be a good person, right? My mom, I could tell you all that. I could tell you more. I could tell you how much she taught me growing up. I could tell you how happy I am that we have a better relationship because we're more talkative toward each other. I could tell you so much about my mom and how happy I am to be her son, right? And I could even tell you that out of the lottery of mom, I hit big. I hit the jackpot, right? But I think it's also important to look at the negative and look at how much she sacrifices and how much she still sacrifices and how much she still pulls through. You know, my mom, she doesn't have it easy. You know, she's working hard, and I feel like there's still this motherly instinct. My mom, I have to fight with her so she doesn't help me. You know, and it's part of her who she is. It's part of the person that she is. You know, it's her nature. She's a very giving person, and although sometimes she is putting herself second, still proud to call her my mom. I love my mom. Wonderful human being. My mom also. It's funny because as a kid I didn't have a lot of self love and self respect, right? But one of the only things that I actually like about myself was my sense of humor. And my father is gonna be liking events. When I tell him something that happened, he's gonna laugh, right? I'm gonna tell him a joke, he's not gonna laugh. My mom, before I even start telling the joke, she laughs, and she's always been like that. She's always been so supportive, you know? When I started making content, my father called it the waste night. My mom asked me how she can help out. My mom would bring me food, and she would watch the video to bring me food that I didn't taste yet. My mom is the picture perfect mom, the picture perfect self-sacrifices. The picture perfect my cup before me, my pup before me. And I'm grateful for that. I think a lot of the emotion that I was negative, like the resentment, the hard feelings, you know, there were a lot about not understanding why she puts herself first. But at the same time, it's hard for me to put myself second because she put me first my whole life. So when you're constantly being put first, it's hard to think about yourself as put second. But yeah, I have an amazing mom. And the thing with my mom is we fought. of course, but she's always been an amazing mom. There's not a moment where she did something that she didn't apologize for, or she did something that's like, okay, well, that's not a good mom. And I'm super happy about that. I'm super grateful about that. See, I'm always comparing my parents, and there's a reason for that. They're so different. See, my mom, my father, they both kicked me out. My mom, she still apologized that day. And my father still seek an apology to this day. So they're very different people. My mom self-sacrifices my father moving forward. And from the first glance, I think my father is stronger, but my mom is stronger because it takes a lot more to self-sacrifices than just to enjoy life, right? My mom, her biggest dream is to go back to Egypt, just to visit. It's such a simple thing. I'm gonna give it to her, She's a great mom. I'm extremely lucky that I have her. But also of the moms, you see, as a kid, you think about your mom. It's okay, well, I have a good mom. As an adult, you look at teachers, and it's like, you know what? She's a good mom. But then as a bigger adult, or when you get older and you get more mature, you're starting to having potential dates with moms. And I feel like that's how you understand how much it is, Single moms, they have it hard, right? This is a Mother's Day post. So yeah, you look at it and you say, fuck, it's not easy being a mom. Look at the Animal Kingdom, how sometimes the father's not even allowed close to their puppies. Right? Love my mom. Don't blink, it's your blink. Welcome to the Local Show. I'm doing well because you're having a wonderful day on this 15th April 2025. By April, I mean May, of course. What am I talking about? I don't freaking know. Today we're talking about a specific subject. We're talking about a special subject, and that special subject, is, of course, we're doing a review for a movie. So lately, you guys know that I've been doing a lot less review for movies. There's time when I feel like making a lot more. Some I feel like making a lot less. Now, ultimately speaking, it's a hardship because most of the shows that I watch, I want to recap them. And now, the reason why I don't recap a lot is because I feel that I'm like, dude, I can have to watch something without having to recap it, and that sucks. However, for some reason, the algorithm of TikTok believes that I might be interested in Trailer Park Boys. Well, I was interested in Trailer Park Boys since 2009. And I don't know, there was a part of it that I watched yesterday, and it was the season 4 episode 2. And this is how crazy it is. This is a big video to do. I saw a moment and it made me laugh. And for some reason I knew exactly what episode it was. And I went to rewatch this morning, and I laughed my ass off. Which is weird because I watched Trailer Park Boys the series 15, 20 times. Trailer Park Boys was also the first series that we reviewed on it. So why are we making this video? Because I'm trying to tell you guys that there's a movie, that there's a series that I would like to rewatch. Right? Now, why do that? Why am I doing that? Well, it's pretty simple. It's actually really, really simple. I'm watching Trailer Park Boys and I'm reminiscent, and I was like, you know what? I want to watch it again. I'm watching a movie which is Anchorman that I reviewed 3-4 times because it's my feel-good movie. And like I said in the beginning, I feel like if I'm watching something, I have to rewatch it. Or I feel like if I'm watching something, I have to do a recap. And if I don't do a recap, I cannot watch it, right? Fuck that. I'm going to give myself the excuse of making a second review. Now, the second review, why is the difference? Well, we're more mature, our style of content changed. We're more aware of what to say, we're more familiar with talking to the camera, we're more aware of content. We have an identity, we have a community, right? Once again, I did the review for Trailer Park Boys about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, right? I didn't touch it since. And I just want to see how different it is or how similar it is. Human species evolve, and with a form of media that's already written. And it's something that I'm familiar with, that I've watched 15, 10, 20 times. I want to see how different it is. Or maybe I just want to watch something. Maybe I'm just looking for excuses to watch something I love. Who knows? Do you know what I know? I'm doing this as an announcement of, oh, I might be watching it, but I know I'm going to watch it. So here we go with version number 2 of Trailer Park Boys Recaps. Anyway, let you guys take it easy. Peace. Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the Computer Show. Let's doing well because are having a wonderful day on this 15th May 2025. They were talking about, it could have been, but it hasn't. It wasn't supposed to happen. It wasn't meant to be. So, a quick intro to the video, a quick know-how. Once again, it's not planned, so this is me improvising to get some time to play the tower or to find an intro. Let's pretend like I'm trying to find an intro, please. That way I can pretend like I'm doing quality content and content that is meaningful and I care for. So we were doing you can see, I'll actually show you. I love the sunrise. You can see the sunrise is not really there. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get my sunrise no matter what. So we went out and I was like, okay, well, let's do nature corn. So nature corn is sometime this filming from the balcony because we do have a balcony. We're lucky enough to have a balcony. And sometimes it's going out and trying to look for something. Now, call me crazy, right? But the sun will always rise at the same place. So if I want to see sunrise, holy shit, look at the bird. See the bird? Look at the bird. This is not planned. Dude, don't drop the fucking phone. It was too late, but at least the phone didn't drop. And at least we got the footage here. It was a bird on the rooftop. Beautiful bird. So I went out and thank God I went out because I got some superb scene. Strongly recommend seeing the nature corner of today. But one of the songs that I was listening to because I like to listen to music as I go out was A Day to Remember, and that song was the Unapologetic. Unapologetic. Unapologetic, if it means a lot to you. Right? And a song, and it's really touching because I was singing, and for some reason I listened to a song, I did a playlist and it was really good. But this song in particular, I think that song, the whole song is about something that is not meant to be. And lately we've been going through a bit of depression, a bit of a depressive episode. Right now, this is not me victimizing myself, this is not me saying, oh, wow, it's me, I'm depressed. But this is me saying that, I mentioned this before a lot. My first depression was horrible because nobody was there for me, right? And I was like, dude, I'm there for everybody, but they weren't there for me. So I said, fuck you, right? And I did a big depression because I felt abandoned, I felt unloved. Then the second depression came in. And of course, the remedy to the first depression, that nobody helped, the fact that nobody cared, I was like, fuck that, I'm not gonna talk to people. I have a choice in between, and this is crazy. I have a choice in between telling people I'm depressed and they don't help, or not telling them depressed and they cannot help because they don't know, right? And then we had a third depression, which was since October. In and out, episodes in, episodes out. And this time I have to tell it because I'm making content and I have a community and they care about me, they worry about me. So I decided to share, right? And this time, it was not because a lot of people showed up for me. A lot of people really showed up for me and it was a beautiful thing and I was extremely grateful for that. But at the same time, a lot of people didn't show up for me. Now, technically speaking, I have to go to the bathroom. You can tell me what I need. holy shit, it's raining. We're back. So yes, so like I was saying, sometimes people are gonna be there, sometimes people are not gonna be there. And there's a lot of things that changed. There's a level of maturity where you understand that people don't owe you shit. You were there, awesome, thank you so much. You weren't there, you know what, you don't owe me shit, it's okay. Next time you need help, I'm not gonna be there, but that's okay. Right? And there's another factor where you're like, you know what? I didn't expect people to be there because I've been hurt in the past. And my expectations are low because I've been hurt because of that. And then lastly, there's a third case. And then there's a third case. And that third case, you know what? I have to be able to fix myself. I wasn't able to fix myself when I was younger, but now I'm an adult, I'm a man. I'm independent, willful. I got every tool that I need in my toolbox, which is to fix myself, right? Doesn't matter how we thought, but we fix ourselves. We're fixing ourselves. We're not completely healed, but we're on the road to heal, to healing or health. I won't lie and say this. You know, there's people that you wanted to be there. That's the difference. That is very the difference. My first impression, I felt like I needed people to be there, right? I felt like I needed people to be there and be like, yo, I need you. And now it's different. It's like, I really like you. I really do like you. You're a good friend of mine. You're an incredible friend of mine, and I want you to be here. Please be here. And it's because of who they are. It's not because you need help. It's because of who they are, right? I was talking with Andrew yesterday. It was like, yo, Andrew, I'm sorry, dude. And it's funny because Andrew was the only person that I apologized to yesterday. There's a bunch of people that came in, but Andrew was the only one that I apologized to because I like Andrew. So yeah, so we continue. We're you know, you want people to be there, and then when they're not there, you don't feel betrayed because like, oh, well, that sucks, but that's life. And then there's a big replacement that happens. And that big replacement that happened is it's no longer why weren't you there? You probably you would be there. It's like it wasn't meant to be. Which is the song this morning. This is what it made me realize. We were talking about depression this morning and this song played. And it made me realize it wasn't meant to be. And I feel like it's such a complex question. It wasn't meant to be. So this friendship wasn't meant to be, this relationship wasn't meant to be. This workplace, because we're looking for work, wasn't meant to be. You know, everything happens for a reason. But there's also the fate, F-A-T-E. So whatever, everything that happens for a reason, and everything that happens was supposed to happen. But of the grand scheme of things, right? So that being said, it's so weird because that friendship wasn't meant to be. And you cannot force a friendship, you cannot force a relationship, you cannot force love, you cannot force. And love comes in multiple fashions. Love comes as a person to person, but it also comes as friends, right? And this question of it wasn't meant to be, I feel like it's a cop-out. I feel like it's the most healthy thing. Don't force relationship. Be okay with if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. Be okay with saying this was out of my power, this was out of control, and this is okay. This happened, still at that's life, moving on. But then, is it in your mind? Is it your perception that it wasn't meant to be? Maybe you're not putting in the effort. Maybe you're not reaching the person halfway there. I was dating this girl. Actually a really good example. And this girl was really involved. And then she was too involved. So the next girl that I was looking for, or we got to know, was a bit not evolved enough. I was like, okay, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but okay, no problem. It is what it is. It is what it is. You know. And then we had a third case, which was again a girl that wasn't pleasant and keeps on disappearing. And she's back, but she's gone, and then she's back, and you're like, I don't want that. And then you realize that you missed the girl that was there too much. Because she was there too much, but she was there, you know? Versus not being there enough, and she's just not there. And back then you thought it wasn't meant to be, but maybe it was meant to be. Maybe you didn't put in the effort. So it's such a tough question to ask yourself. Was it meant to be, or did I give up before it was time? And again, if you follow the bon matin, ça va bien?
Oui, ça va bien, merci.
Good. You see, you have to ask yourself, am I giving up before it's time to give up? If we're following the train of thought of faith or my neighbor, faith or I think it happened for a reason, right? Because I'm supposed to have this friendship, and then it's stupid because if you end up the friendship, you were meant to end up this friendship, but it just feels like a cop out. You should be able to nourish. You should be able to cultivate relationship and friendship and bonds and have hopes, right? Not constantly believing that everything is a picture of faith. Everything is a result of faith. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with saying that. I don't feel like it's truthful. Then at the same time, you gotta change the path. You gotta change the future. You can only accept what's going on. And what is going on is not in your power. Right? So letting go is hard. Letting go is hard. And knowing when to let go is harder. And the song this morning, it means a lot to you. Right? The girl, she wants to be friends, right? And she's like, the guy's like, I don't want to be friends with you. I want to stay friends, right? Then maybe if she stays friends, maybe that was the right thing to do. Maybe she'll come back to you. But then do you really want to be a friend to someone you love? No. So it's such a complex question. When to give up and when to fight. And I could give you the answer, but I don't have it, so. Looking forward to doing part 2 of this video. I gotta go to my father's house. I love you guys. Take it easy. Some boy that you can play, yeah. We knew it up and eventually. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do.